SoFi investors, stock market investors, what is going on? My name is Jason. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about SoFi stock and a huge $35 trillion market opportunity that could send SoFi stock into the stratosphere. And a lot of people, especially here on YouTube, aren't really talking about this opportunity. Everyone's really excited about some other things going on with SoFi stock, but I got a really interesting video lined up for you guys today. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the video. All right, SoFi investors, we're closing in on 3,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all of your support on this little baby channel. SoFi did trade under 20 bucks per share today. Took a mean dip under 20 bucks, but closed the day up over $21 per share. In this little baby account, I got 250 shares. I own right around 5,500 shares of SoFi. I did have some covered calls called away over the last few weeks. So we went from 6K to around 5,500 shares of SoFi stock. But once again, real quick before we get into the video, over the last week, trading about flat. Over the last month, up over 35%. The last 3 months, up 93%. Year to date, coming in over 40%. So, what is that $35 trillion opportunity that I mentioned in the intro? Real quick, we're going to talk about what's on the horizon for SoFi stock. The return to crypto trading, S&P 500 inclusion, and they're going to be a beneficiary of the student loan limitations from Trump's recent spending bill, right? That's all tailwinds for SoFi and the company. But for me, that $35 trillion opportunity comes from home lending. Right now, home lending is not a big part of SoFi's business model, but it's quickly growing. And I do think over the next 2 to 5 years, it's going to be a lot more significant part of this business model, right? And I expect over that time frame, 2 to 5 years, that mortgage volume is going to explode, home equity loans, refinancing. As soon as these rates start to fall, oh boy, SoFi could be a huge beneficiary with these refinances, new mortgages, all kinds of interest rate related income, right? Not only has refinancing and home equity lending volume plummeted over the last few years with these high interest rates, but home values has also risen dramatically over the last 5 years. Why that is huge is the way you take out home equity loans is like by how much your house is appraised for, right? So whatever your house is worth is how much a bank is willing to lend you when your collateral is at X amount of dollars. So right now, homeowners in the United States have an all-time high $35 trillion in equity built up in their homes. That is a remarkable number. And if SoFi refinances or gets mortgages in a small percentage of that, it is a ton of money coming in for this business model. Inflation over the last few years has been a nightmare, right? And inflation was up. Not only was inflation up, but interest rates really skyrocketed compared to the last 15 and 20 years, right? And a lot of these homeowners put big projects on their house, building the pool, putting the garage in, stuff you do home equity loans to do, adding a second level. They put that shit on pause, man, straight up. And as interest rates calm down, people are going to see an opportunity to do those things to their homes that they wanted, right? And as rates come down, loans, mortgages, and home equity loans are going to skyrocket. Below is mortgage rates from 2002 to 2024. Just a great visual I found. Since, 08, when the crash happened, rates have been extremely low in that 5 to 3% range. And we've seen that huge uptick from, 2020 to 2024. And as of me filming this video today, the average 30-year mortgage in the United States is around 6.75%. Some are a little higher, some are a little bit lower. But you would be an absolute dipshit if you wanted to trade in your 3% mortgage for a 7% mortgage over 30 years. The amount of interest you're going to be paying on those loans is astronomically more if you take on to 7%, 6.5% as compared to 3 to 4.5%, right? So when are these rates going to come down? The Federal Reserve is projected to cut interest rates in 2025. Most people see 2 rate cuts, about 0.25%. You know what I mean? So that's about 50 basis points. So coming around probably 6% by the end of the year, right? It could go under 6%, be in that 5.5 to 6% range, depending on what Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve does from now until the end of the year. I see the, projected mortgage rates being under 5% within the next 2 years, right? So SoFi's home loan growth, it's growing fast, man. It's a very small percentage of their total income right now, revenue-wise. In the first quarter, SoFi's home loan originations totaled $518 million. That's less than 1/10 of its personal loan originations and about half of its student loan volume. For me, huge runway for growth, guys. Huge! 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 Guys, I'm excited about this runway. That's what I'm really excited about. Where home loans and refis and mortgages could go for this business model with SoFi over the next 2 to 5 years. It's going to be huge. Yet the past few years have been worst case scenario for refinances and potentially getting a mortgage, right? If you look at the amount of interest you're going to pay on a 3.5 to 4.5% loan compared to 6.5%, it's a shit ton of money over 30 years, guys, especially when your houses are between $500,000 and $800,000. It's a lot of freaking money, guys. So in this scenario, no one is going to trade in their 3.5% mortgage for a 7% mortgage. That is just bad business. But they would consider trading it in to upgrade or downgrade or just get a new place from 3.5 to 4.5% or 4% to 5%, somewhere in that range. But to trade 3.5 or 4%, even 4.5 from 5.5 to 6% or higher is just crazy. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. I don't see these refinances really starting to happen until the second half of 2026, right? So I think we could go down a basis point between right now and this time next year. So July, August of next year, we could see us in that, 5.5, 5.75% mortgage rate, and that's considerably better from the 6.75% that we're averaging right now across the United States, right? So lower rates equals a massive opportunity over the next 2 to 5 years. Obviously, a lot depends on that, macroeconomically, what's going on with all these wars and Trump's tariffs and all that stuff. But we can't really make our projections based on crazy shit that may or may not happen, right? We got to just go with the history of data and make our best opinions moving forward, right? SoFi currently offers refinancing loans, including cash out refis, a variety of purchase mortgages and home equity loans and home equity lines of credit. In fact, SoFi's HELOCs have some competitive advantages such as no application fees and the ability to borrow up to 90% of your home equity. Most lenders limit this to 80% just in case you want to take the money and run, right? So I'm very, very, very excited. I know I've said that a bunch of times, but guys, I think there's a huge opportunity here for SoFi and companies like SoFi. Americans are sitting on $35 trillion in home equity, guys. And I think this is going to help launch the stock. It's at $20 now. I think 5 years from now, if SoFi is $60 to $100, I'm not going to be surprised at all. I think with their member growth, we're going to be over 11 million members this quarter coming up. That's going to be announced within the next week or so. We're adding, the last quarter they added 800,000 new members. We can get to the point where we're adding 1 million new members every quarter. That's 4 million new members a year. If we add 3 to 4 million per year, 5 years from now, we're talking about between 25 and 35 million members on the SoFi platform, guys. All right, all my SoFi investors, that wraps up today's video. If you like these kind of SoFi and stock market videos, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know about your thoughts on this $35 trillion market opportunity for SoFi. I would love to hear your thoughts or questions in the comments down below. Thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.